Hello, we're now going to look at our headstand practice, Salamba Sirsasana. Now there's a couple of variants in headstand practice, as you're probably aware, either using a tripod or, well, they're both tripods, or using our forearms. Now we're going to focus in this exercise on the forearms, mainly because if you're using the forearms, you've got a wide base of support. And also we're looking to lift that crown of the head off the mat as best we can, which is just a safer option for you. Okay, so we're going to start by thinking about our base. Now if you do have one of these headstand little cushions, they're absolutely brilliant. They're really cheap to get, they're only about £5. So I just highly recommend these if you're going to spend a lot of time on your head. Otherwise, roll up your mat, find the soft bit of cushioning, or you can just use a blanket or anything really underneath your head. I'd also recommend that you have a wall or a door in front of you. I'm just doing this sideways on so that you can see a little bit easier, but please have something around you so that if you do fall, you can fall safely. Okay, so we're going to start by interlacing your fingers and place them down on the mat with your thumbs facing upwards. And if you can, just release the little fingers from that interlace, just puts less pressure on those little finger joints. Place the forearms down on the mat and have a look at the width of your elbows. If you can get these about shoulder width, that's ideal. Now come into a kneeling position and we're going to place the crown of our head onto the mat. So that's the very top of your head, and you want to cup the back of your head in that cup shape that you've created with your hands. So we're starting now just to find that alignment. Now push into your arms and release your head from the mat. So you want to be able to just release that head completely. So as we're doing this, we're finding that proprioception with the shoulders and the stability we're creating here. Okay, so that's the foundation of your headstand. You'll have this triangular shape and your head, the back of your head, will sit within that cup. Keep your elbows tucked, keep the extension through your neck as you're pushing your shoulders away. Okay, we're going to move that on to the next step. So exactly the same foundation, but this time we're going to lift the hips and come onto the toes as if you are in a dolphin or sort of a half down dog position. Once again, push into your forearms and see if you can release the head here. So if you're comfortable releasing that head, start to think about aligning your shoulders on top of your elbows and walk the toes in ever so slightly. So you're shifting the weight of the body up and over to the shoulders. And then just rest the knees down and come to a break here. Now, if you found that by creeping those toes forwards, your base of support, you weren't able to lift the crown of the head off, so essentially you had quite a bit of weight on your head as well as your forearms, that's absolutely fine, but I would stay in that position and just work by tiptoeing the feet forwards and keep working to push your elbows, your forearms away, and see if you can lengthen through your shoulders to create more space, and eventually your head will start to skim just off the floor. So that's where you're going to stay, if that's where you're at just now. However, if you were able to lift the head a little, we can move on to the next stage. So set yourself up once more. Nice firm foundation, take your time. Press into the forearms and lift the hips. So on our toes, we're starting to walk forwards and we're feeling that shift of the weight of the body as the hips are starting now to also align on top of the shoulders. As the hips align on top of the shoulders, this is where we're not going to jump. We're going to tuck the knees into the chest and see if we can find a balance. So we're aiming to find a place where we can feel that lift and we can find stability. bring the toes down safely. Just rest in child's pose for a moment because this is an inversion. We need to take this really, really slowly, step by step. So be patient. Again, if you're not getting that lift and you're feeling you're having to kind of kick those legs up, don't try and extend your legs long yet. Stick with that stage. And every challenging, and this is a challenging advanced asana, means you just have to be really, really, really patient with yourself. Okay, I'm going to show you the last position with the legs up so that you know the whole journey. Okay, please don't forget to have a wall or something or safe handy to this next step. So we'll find our foundation once more. Let's get our head nice and right on the crown so that your eye gaze will be back towards your knees. We'll lift those hips. Start walking the toes in so that we're shifting the weight forwards, and only when we can feel those hips nicely aligned over the shoulders can we lift the knees to the chest, and then we take the heels back. So when we're comfortable here, that's when we can start to push the toes and lengthen through the legs, pushing the mounds of the big toes up towards the ceiling, internally rotating the thighs, looking for that alignment. So you can take 2 or 3 breaths here and slowly bring the knees down to the chest, back down to the mat. So let's come to a full child's pose before bringing yourself back. And just be very patient, be careful, and please do let me know how you get on.